Hey everyone, welcome to the Film Yap podcast. Ben Sears and Nate Richard here once again. Here to talk some big news that happened in Hollywood today. Very excited to talk about it. Of course, I'm referring to the Masters of the Universe trailer. Nate, you texted me, I think 7 hours would be enough to dedicate to talk about this.
Absolutely. I know all my He-Man lore. I know you do as
Yeah,
well. So,
maybe hopefully 7 hours is enough. Maybe we should
yes.
like break it down like frame by frame or multiple episodes. Uh,
Yes.
no, of course we're going to talk about the Oscar nominations, which were announced today. All 24 categories. We know who the contenders are. It was a very exciting morning, and there's definitely a lot to talk about. So, yeah, let's just talk kind of overall. Nate, how are you feeling about kind of the overall nominations in general?
It's funny because we were talking about earlier this week. It's like I think I said I'm like I don't know how many surprises there will be. And then they still somehow surprised us. And I like that. I like surprises. Most of the surprises were good surprises, I guess, depending on who you ask. Some of the surprises are unpleasant, but you know what? I like movies, so I was
There
generally
is
happy.
we are gonna certainly talk about this in more detail, but there is a certain pop star slash actress whose uh, vocal fan base is certainly not very happy today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a very cool day overall, a great day for movies, I would say. Obviously, the big headline is Sinners, record-breaking 16 nominations overall, which is just insane. And then One Battle After Another was second most with 13. Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, and Sentimental Value had 9. Hamnet had 8. And then there were a bunch others that had like 4 or 5 and then just kind of dropped off from there. But yeah, I think, especially with like Best Picture, which everyone is going to talk the most about, there's a really solid and interesting mix of like blockbusters and art house and international stuff. It's kind of the best of all of the worlds. So um, let's kind of talk. Let's start off with Sinners. Like, what what was your earliest indication that it would reach 16 nominations?
I think when they said Delroy Lindo, I will say the caveat, even with the caveat of them having that new category of best casting, even if you took that out, it would still have held the record because it broke the
Yep.
record by two, which is pretty insane. But as soon as Delroy Lindo, which was probably the happiest I was of all the nomination announcements, I knew something was up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely, that was when the floodgates were breaking.
Yeah.
Um, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the best casting category, but that you know, we were all kind of curious about what direction that one would go. This year it's all best picture nominees. I don't know if that's, an indication of what it'll be like in the future or if this year was just kind of a fluke, but uh it's a very cool category
Yeah.
and definitely a cool place to see Sinners. I mean, I will say, like, I think I mentioned this last time. Sinners wasn't my favorite movie of the year. It wasn't in my top 10. I think it rocks. It's cool. I like Ryan Coogler. I like everything that he's done. Um, and yeah, to see Sinners hold the record now, which is, an original black horror movie that premiered in April and became this box office sensation. For that movie to hold the record now, I mean, you can't be mad at it. That is just one of the coolest things the Academy has ever done. It's
Yeah.
now it stands above All About Eve, Titanic, and La La Land. Those are the next closest in terms of the most nominations, with 14.
Yeah. I mean, and this is going to probably be up by the time this is posted. So I can just say Sinners was my favorite movie of last year. It kind of took me a while to, decipher it all. But like, so just to see like my favorite movie of the year be celebrated in this way makes me very happy. Especially like, okay, I have gotten it. Like, Oppenheimer was my favorite movie of 2 years ago. I guess now 3 years ago. Holy
Hmm.
shit. But I mean, just to see Sinners celebrate in this way, because even when I saw it in April, I was like, I kind of bought into like it will be an awards player, but I'm like, will it go all the way? Will it not? I don't know, because they're stingy about, well, one, they're stingy about black led films, and they're also stingy about genre films.
Right.
And this is a black led blockbuster. I mean, this isn't I one of my friends who is black, he kind of commented, he was like, it's not a slavery movie. And the fact that this is like getting this kind of recognition is kind of a breakthrough.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, even, 5 or 6 years ago, this would not have happened. This
No,
would have been impossible. So it just kind of shows you, yeah, just how far the Academy has come in just a short amount of time.
I think it's a sign of like the younger Academy members as well. Um, they have people who even like work, everybody votes on like some of these big categories, even like the sound people or the visual effects people. And they're not, some of these people aren't like the highbrow, artsy fartsy that people usually signify the Academy with. Some of them just want to see a good movie with like a crowd. And I mean, we did get like some more, I guess like indie flair in there. I mean, Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, which both deserved.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this movie just speaks volumes about like, this is what people, I feel like I heard more people talking about this than even like the movie we'll probably talk about after this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you look at the nominations that Sinners got, it really kind of got in everywhere where it was expected to, including like I I don't know if I had Sinners in Best Sound or I certainly didn't have, well, maybe I did have it in visual effects. Um Production design was a little bit of a surprise, but yeah, it just did not miss. And then it got the kind of unexpected acting nominations with Delroy Lindo and Wunmi Masaku. And we had talked about how both Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan we were kind of nervous about them, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. They
Yeah.
were, uh, they were pretty safe.
I mean, there is no movie without Coogler. I feel like it would be. We knew that movie was getting in for picture regardless, and it would have been ridiculous if he didn't get a director nomination. Just looking back, it's like he is the reason that movie, beyond just writing it and directing it, like he is built up in his career. I've always loved his trajectory from going from Fruitvale Station, like a really small movie, then going to like a mid-budget kind of legacy sequel in Creed, which is, in my personal opinion, the best legacy sequel of all time.
Mm,
I mean, I'm a massive Rocky fan, and like
okay.
that is the rare legacy sequel that I think lives up to the original. And then he does a massive Marvel movie with Black Panther, and he follows that up with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which for everything that he went through before that movie, including the loss of Chadwick Boseman, like the fact that that movie turned out pretty good is a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
Yeah,
remember liking that movie at the time. I'm probably gonna rewatch it before Doomsday. But
yeah,
yeah, I remember liking it. It certainly, it didn't live up to the first one, but
mm-mm,
I would say he still has a perfect filmography.
it does. And I'll be very curious because I know he says he's doing the X Files reboot for TV, which I'm very, very interested in, especially if he gets. It's rumored to be Danielle Deadweiler, who's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated actresses working today. She should be an Academy Award nominee by now, but she is not.
Right.
Um, but and then he's doing Black Panther 3. But after those two, I'm very curious to see what he's gonna do. If he's gonna kind of play more in the genre sandbox, or if he ever wants to do something more like, I know he was attached to like a school scandal movie
Mm,
like right before Black Panther. Him and Michael B. Jordan, it was like called like Wrong Answer. It was about like a math teacher who like
okay.
cheats over like standardized testing.
Okay.
Um, that was like a true story, and I'm like, I wonder if he would ever go back to that, or if he's kind of just cemented himself as this, event filmmaker. Which I think either way, I'll be happy.
I,
Just more from him.
yeah, I mean, at this point, I fully trust him in whatever he wants to do. So, um, yeah, uh, you know, I I don't know what else there is to say, but Sinners it's just cool. You do now, given this record and this not kind of nomination haul, do you think it has any chance now to beat One Battle After Another in Best Picture?
I think there's a chance. I think more so now than there was before. I think Golden Globes move that aside.
Right.
BAFTAs, do not pay attention to them. This is the same award show. I was ranting to my friends on one of my Discord groups earlier. I'm like, because they saw a Hollywood Reporter article being like, the Brits would have been left out, but Delroy Lindo and Bunmai Masaku saved them at the Oscars. And I'm like, shut the hell up. They've never nominated Denzel. I will, again, I could go hours about that. I think
Right.
Sinners has a chance, but I think it would go picture, and I think One Battle would go director, is what that would go like.
PTA, yeah, I think PTA has director in the bag
Yeah.
pretty safely. I
Yeah.
think now if I still think it'll be One Battle in Picture, but I mean if Sinners ends up taking BAFTA, then I'm gonna be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Then I might, it's gonna be a real toss up, and I think I saw a comparison or two to Moonlight and La La Land earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's not a complete one to one here, but it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
let's
it's almost inversed a little bit because like La La Land was the favorite to win, and that was the previous record holder
Yeah,
before this, and now One Battle is kind of
yeah,
the favorite.
and La La Land had pretty much swept like all the precursors,
Yeah.
so yeah. Well, yeah, let's kind of talk about One Battle After Another. 13 nominations, like I said. It would have also tied the record if it weren't for Chase Infinity missing in
Yeah.
Best Actress. But it did kind of get a surprise production design nomination,
Yeah.
which, that is a really cool nomination. I was not expecting it. So, but I mean, when you think about it, there's some great production design in that one. So,
Yeah.
very cool.
I mean, it's an action movie. It has like pretty distinct set pieces as well. And I think
Right.
that's a more interesting nomination than if, I don't know. I don't want to put down Sentimental Value because that is a movie I also love, but like compared to Sentimental Value, where the main set piece is the house, which plays a role in the movie, but it's like, come on, versus One Battle,
Right.
you feel those sets make you feel the scale of that movie.
I Part of me kind of wonders like how much of the production design that they nominated was the like the final action sequence with all the roads and
Yeah.
you know, does that count as production design? But uh I don't know. It was, it's
I mean,
a location that was picked for its design, so
just that scene alone, because I watched the movie again with my family over the holidays, and none of them really liked the movie, which I was
mm,
bummed about because again, it that is like in my top three favorites of last year. I absolutely love that movie. But the one scene that got stuck in their heads was that road scene. They're like, "Oh well, this is pretty neat."
yeah. Yeah. We'll I don't think my parents will ever watch one battle after another, but if they do, I will be sure to report back.
Please do.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, Chase Infinity lost out in Best Actress, which we talked about as a possibility. I still had not wavered from that, but it certainly seems like Kate Hudson ended up taking her place. Were you surprised by that?
No. I truly think they should have gone supporting for
Mm,
Chase Infinity as well. Because I think if she went in supporting, I think she would have gotten in. I think she would have taken the place probably of like Elle Fanning, who I was very, as much as I was like denying her yes the other day, I like that. I like that nomination just because she's been so long overdue. But like, I think Chase Infinity would have gotten in for supporting. Just the actress, I think it's just a weird role. We've seen actresses kind of campaign and lead when they aren't like up close the lead of the movie before. Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Michelle Williams and The Fablemans. But at the
yeah.
same time, Lily Gladstone, she was in a lot of indie movies. She was in a Kelly Reichardt movie. But she was still like out there, you know. She was respected within the indie film scene. And Michelle Williams was very established. She'd been nominated multiple times. There's kind of an overdue narrative. I think if both of those actresses went in the supporting category, they probably would have won their respective years. Um, but, and I don't know if that would have been Chase Infinity, but at the same time, I think the problem for her was the youth aspect because the last time I can remember, like a almost total newcomer, we talked about her only one other credit. Uh, the one time like a total newcomer was nominated was young. I can't pronounce her name, but Quenzera Wallace for
Oh, right. Yeah.
Beast
Hmm.
of the Southern Wild.
Right.
And that never really happened again. Like I even looked at the compared like Lucas Hedges when he was nominated for Manchester by the Sea, and Timothy Chalamet when he was nominated for
Call me by your
Call Me by
name.
Your Name. Like
Right.
Lucas Hedges had already worked with Wes Anderson. Um,
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet had already worked with like Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Jason Finley just worked on a TV Apple show. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with Chase being run as a lead. I think that was probably the right call. If she would have been supporting, I think that would have been fine too. Who's to say, uh, what would have happened, either way. Speaking of Elle Fanning, that was literally the first name that was read,
yeah,
and I just remember like that, that was just kind of kicking off, you know, the expectations for chaos, and we certainly got that, which we'll get into in a minute. Yeah, you know, I is there anything else you want to kind of shout out about one battle after another? Any nominations that you felt were very cool or,
I think it deserved every nomination it was up for. I was kind of glad it didn't get into makeup because I saw people being like vouching for makeup. I'm like, for what?
uh, you know, I might have to double check that, but I might have had it in there for that as well. I mean,
I did. I did, but I was just like, as much as I love that movie, I'm like, why makeup? I'm like, okay, they did that category has been weird, especially since they opened up the five. We saw the movie that shall not be named nominated last year,
yeah. Uh,
certain French movie. Um,
well, we will I mean, we will certainly talk about the makeup and hairstyling nominees from this year because that was just pure chaos.
it was cool.
Some yeah, in a good way. You know, I forget who it was that had mentioned it like in the run up, but they kind of talked about how that branch kind of always kind of does their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
Alice in Wonderland and the Suicide Squad and uh,
No,
a bunch of
just
other,
Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad.
of course, my apologies to James Gunn.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that is kind of the go-to category these days where you can kind of expect the unexpected, uh, in a good way.
Jackass.
So, um,
Jackass was nominated. Bad Grandpa.
oh
Like
boy.
anybody who was like, oh, I don't know if like the Ugly Stepsister or the Smashing Machine will get in. They're not Oscar friendly. It's like, do you know that this category was created because of a horror comedy, because
Hmm.
of an American Werewolf in London for that transformation scene? That's kind of what caused this category to be created, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm. Uh,
Like, and I mean, we've seen weird. You brought up Suicide Squad. The Wolfman 2010 was not won the Oscar.
mm.
Freaking Click with Adam Sandler was nominated in this category. Norbit.
Yep.
I'm bringing it up again.
Uh,
Norbit.
Coming to America, the Coming
Yeah,
to America sequel. Yeah. Um,
but
yeah, I mean, let's just get drilled into it with this year. So the makeup and hairstyling nominees were Frankenstein, Kokuo, Sinners, Smashing Machine, and Ugly Stepsister. Um, I think it's safe to say I had only predicted Frankenstein and the Smashing Machine, and I maybe Sinners as well, but certainly not Kokuo or the Ugly Stepsister. I mean, I had heard that the makeup in Kokuo was very good,
yeah,
but I still haven't seen it
me
yet. I
neither.
don't know if I will get a chance to see it before the Oscars. I still have not seen the Ugly Stepsister,
Me
but
neither, actually.
from what I understand, it's body horror and it's I think that it's cool that horror movies are getting recognition, especially in this category, because horror is kind of dependent on makeup and prosthetics, and so uh, you love to see it.
Yeah. I'm just glad the good body horror movie from this year was not. I haven't seen Ugly Stepsister, but I remember I think Wolfman made the short list. It might have. And I'm like, I would have been pissed.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I for a brief
Bald
second there, I
werewolf.
kept thinking that The Wolfman was 2026 movie. I did not see that Wolfman either. So
You're not missing much.
that's why I haven't seen it, because I've heard pretty much that exact same thing.
Um, but yeah, sorry to get off on a side tangent, but like just the Ugly Stepsister be nominated just made me so happy, despite not even having seen it. I know it's on Disney Plus, which is so
Yeah.
weird now. I finally recently merged. My family merged our Disney Plus and Hulu, so it's all in one.
Hmm.
So earlier this week, I watched Twinless for the first time. It was just weird going to Disney Plus to watch that.
Yeah. That's, I believe Poor Things is also on there as
Yeah,
well. So a little bit of everything, not
yeah,
just Spidey and his amazing friends.
yeah.
Um, yeah, real quick, let's get back into Best Picture. So, I think the only surprise there was F1, which we had talked
Remember?
about as a possibility. Were you surprised when that was called out, or
Kind of, a little bit. Um, I knew it was a possibility. I think I was just trying to going in. I was really trying to manifest weapons happening,
mm,
but as soon as it missed original screenplay, and then when it missed casting, I was like, okay, it's
hmm
not going to get in. And I started to figure out, I'm like, it's going to be F1. I keep hearing the name called. It's going to be F1, which I don't have a problem with. I love that movie. It was one
yeah,
of my favorite. It wasn't in my top 10, but it was like top 15 for me. I I like cars going fast. What can I say? But
I I did not spend a whole lot of time on social media today, but I think the one that I saw the most kind of anger about, I guess, was F1 in Best Picture.
I don't get it.
Um,
I thought people liked it. It's a dad movie, and
yeah,
racing movies have always kind of gotten it. Ford v Ferrari as well. That got in. I
right.
mean, yeah, the Michael Mann Ferrari didn't get in, but I mean that movie wasn't. It was kind of a letdown.
Ooh, we're gonna differ on that one.
I liked it. I just there's parts of that movie that I was a little iffy on, but like I think it's also just the nominate. I did see one comment being like the sound in F1 wasn't even that good, and I'm like, you're talking out of your ass if you think that.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
don't know.
think? I don't know.
It's
Hamnet had better sound.
it's not as easy to capture the race car sounds as you would think. So,
No.
um,
Um, I was right to our buddy Trevor about that. I was like, I heard this comment. He was like, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. um, but I think that one, but I think it's a testament to like Jerry Bruckheimer as well.
right.
I mean, I think it's that more than even Brad Pitt or Joseph Kaczynski. Because Jerry Bruckheimer with Top Gun Maverick, with the Bad Boys 3 and 4, like he's really kind of bringing back the old school summer blockbuster of the late 80s and 90s period with these kinds of movies. And I think that's what they, you know, ultimately want.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by when I saw F1 in Best Picture, mostly because it did miss out on cinematography, unfortunately. It did miss out in the best song category, which was kind of an outside possibility, but
Wasn't a very
you
good
know,
song.
I I don't know if I could recite it from memory either. So, but I mean, I felt like it needed a little bit more juice in order to justify a Best Picture nomination. I guess, it kind of it was just an accident spot, which we had kind of talked about the other day. And ultimately, that movie just got, was it just international and
Screenplay.
original screenplay?
Yeah,
So kind of took a dive there, but
it's bummed.
we can talk a little bit more about that another time, I guess. But um, speaking of which, international, Neon got 4 out of the 5 nominees. Did you expect that at all?
When they named Surratt, I was like, wait, are they gonna do all five? Because I don't think they did that in alphabetical order.
Um, right.
I
It
think
was
they did it
by
by
the
country.
country. Yes.
So it's like South Korea. I think that would be,
Mm.
or no, it wouldn't have been Surratt is Spain. But I still, in my head, when I heard Surratt, I'm like, are they gonna go 5 for 5? Because we'll get to this later. The other movie in the category, which is probably my favorite international movie of last year,
Mm.
um, did not get any nominations, but did not even land there. But you know what? good for Neon. Um, this is, I think this race is firmly now between Secret Agent and Sentimental Value.
Right.
Um,
I would agree.
which again, I'm a little because it was just an accident. It's my favorite of the five nominees. I've seen all of those. This is like I think the first year in a long, might be the first year ever I've seen all the nominees before they were announced in that category. And
Nice.
all five of those movies are very good. But
I gotta say I did not really care for Surat, and
I
I don't think it was because I didn't see it in a theater.
yeah, no, I also watched it at home. So
Yeah.
I think I was just kind of entranced by it. I had a friend text me. He was like, "You need to take a shot before you watch this movie. It might like give you a little bit more like adrenaline. It might make it a little more, trippy." I was like,
Sure.
"Bet," and I did.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I did not, so maybe that was what was missing. Um, I will say, Neon not only got four international feature nominees, but they got three in Best Picture, which right? No, no, just
Two.
two. Okay. All right. Um, so I mean, either way, I think what today kind of cemented is that like if you're especially an international film that has Oscar uh hopes, Cannes is the place to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of been obvious for a couple years now, but this year it really felt obvious, Secret Agent, Surat, Sentimental Value, uh um
it was just an accident.
it was just an accident, right? Um, and even No Other Choice, which obviously missed but came close. But if you really have Oscar hopes, Cannes is the place to be. I think I saw they got there were 19 nominations overall from films that premiered at Cannes. So
Yeah,
it's you know Oscar season is starting earlier and earlier now. So you can't be mad about that if you're a nerd like us.
yeah, exactly. Do you want to go to animated? Because I think there's two Can Con films in there as well.
Right, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I took me a second to remember which ones, but yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So, and I will say we have 4.5 minutes left on the timer. But there was from Con. Did Little Amelie premiere there?
Yes. And from
Okay.
what I heard, I think it was like the last day, and that was when that big power outage happened that took
Oh
out like
no.
the whole town. So I
Oh my
think
god.
like it got through like half of it and then just completely shut down. So technically it did premiere there, but I don't think anybody actually got to see all of it.
Wow. We had that, and then we had the movie that is probably my least favorite of the movies nominated today, Arco. I don't think you were a fan of it either, were you?
Very much no.
Uh,
Yeah, it's near the bottom. I wouldn't say it's at the bottom, but it's very close.
and then I haven't seen Elio yet, which is weird for me. Not, I used to love Pixar. Behind me, I got for Christmas a Lego set of a Pixar lamp. I'm a massive Pixar fan, but I haven't seen Elio yet just because I heard like mixed things. Now I'm gonna have to. Um, but that
Also
got
on
it.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know. Right next to the ugly stepsister and twinless.
Yep.
Um, and then we had the two, I would say, clear front runners in this category, which were K-pop Demon Hunters and Zootopia 2. Um, the last 2 years we had kind of it felt almost like revolutionary for this award show where they didn't give it to a Disney movie. They didn't even really give it to an American movie. They gave it to The Boy and the Heron. I think that's more of just a testament to Hayao Miyazaki. He's a world renowned filmmaker. everybody knows his name, even if you're not super big into like animation. People know what Studio Ghibli is. But when Flo beat the Wild Robot last year and Inside Out 2, that was a big deal. I don't think that's happening this year.
No, that would be very shocking.
Uh,
I think the clear third place, at least to me, is Little Amelie,
Little
which
Amelie,
I
yeah,
would say I liked more than Zootopia 2.
I wouldn't go that far, but I did enjoy it, especially for the animation style, which I
Yeah.
didn't even like the animation in Argo. I was just like, this is.
Yep.
My roommate walked in on me watching it in the living room, and he was just like, this looks like it's trying to be uh, like Spirited Away. And I'm like, it's not.
No, very much no.
No.
Um, yeah, no, I know that I'm not the first person to say this, but I think last year was kind of a weak year for animation. Um,
Yeah.
I I think the sixth place, which was probably like Chainsaw Man or Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
there was very steep drop off between those two, or even
Yeah.
Neja too, maybe.
I like nature too, actually. I just had a good time at the theater.
Still haven't seen it.
It's long.
That's yep, that's partly why I haven't seen it.
Right. So, what category next do you want to talk about?
Oh, let's see. How many oh, okay. I know we talked a little bit about best casting and yeah, it's all best picture nominees, but I just wanted to shout out four of the five nominees are women, which is
Yeah,
very cool. So you love to see it. I know we talked about I wanted Sentimental Value as a nominee, didn't happen.
it's so
That's
weird
fine. But I
because I that movie got four acting nominations.
yep,
Secret Agent got one. That
yep.
doesn't really make much sense to me.
No, I mean I I think it's very cool that the secret agent
Oh
got
yeah,
in there, but because I mean like it's pretty much just like memorable faces, you know,
yeah.
character actors and
Udo Kier, the late Udo
right.
Kier.
So it's hard to be too mad about it, but
Yeah,
um, no, just I don't know, just wanted to shout it out.
a good category. I'm
Yeah,
very curious how it will line up. And I do have a question once we're done that kind of relates to new categories
okay.
that I thought about as I was shopping before the wonderful winter storm that's about to be hitting us.
I was doing the same thing, yeah, as was half of Indianapolis.
Yep.
Um, let's talk a little bit about documentary feature.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess that you have only seen one of these nominees. Would that be
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So have I.
It was the one everybody else has seen.
Yes. Well, so it looks like four of these five actually is streaming.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I mean, I had only known about the Alabama Solution is on HBO Max, and Come See Me in the Good Light is on Apple
Apple.
TV, and then Mr. Nobody Against Putin is on like, I mean, you can rent it on Amazon, but I think it's streaming on something called like the Kino Film Collection. I looked up today.
Huh.
Who knows?
A free
But
trial, baby.
pretty much, I mean, that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if or how you can watch Cutting Through Rocks at the moment. I would bet that they'll make that rentable by the time the Oscars happens. So, um, yeah. Any thoughts about documentary feature?
It's so weird because I didn't know about there's kind of a changing of narrative around The Perfect Neighbor since it came out of just
Hmm.
how it was made. And some people finding it like exploitative. I don't know. I think it's a really important movie.
Hmm.
It's telling a story that, I mean, it's a day ruiner, but you know, it also makes you want, change in a lot of ways. Netflix has won this category before. They won it for a documentary about a guy befriending an octopus.
Yes, that happened.
My
You
sister told me to watch
can't
it. I don't
argue
think
against
I
that.
did.
Yep.
But this is always such a weird category, especially because it's like they don't. They also don't like biographical documentaries, which
Right.
is a lot
And
of what I watch.
found
Like,
footage kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite movie of 2018 was Won't You Be My Neighbor, the Mr. Rogers documentary. That movie genuinely moved me. And I remember being so flabbergasted that that wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
And that was like a year that documentaries were becoming kind of like, I feel like even more mainstream because that was also the year of Three Identical Strangers, which I don't think was nominated either.
Hmm.
Um, and Free Solo, which ended up winning,
Right.
rightfully so. But I do plan on watching these docs now that I know they're on streaming.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
I think I put these movies back, even like Perfect Neighbor, that dropped around the time I was kind of going through a major life change, I'll just say, without getting into detail. And my friend was like, you might he's like, you might want to be in a better headspace. And I'm like, I just need to get this over with. And
Yeah.
so like now I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to do like one of these a day or even like just space them out.
Hmm.
Watch The Ugly Stepsister and Elio in between.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
From what I've heard, the Alabama solution is kind of one of those, like, it'll get your blood pumping.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, I can't speak to the other ones because I'm not too familiar with their subject matter, but um, yeah, this category is, they like what they like, and usually what they like is not super populist or easy to swallow. I know one of the or two of the favorites that I had felt pretty certain about was 2000 meters to Andreevka, which is
yeah,
another the follow up from the 20 Days in Mariupol director, which I loved that movie, but it was bleak as hell.
yeah,
Um, and then My Undesirable Friends, which is the kind of inside journalism, inside Russia one that's 5.5 hours long. I guess you can understand now why it wasn't nominated.
yeah,
And then part of me is glad now that it wasn't because I won't have to set aside 5.5 hours. But I maybe I'll watch it sooner or later.
yeah,
Um, so and then the other one was the Laura Poitras documentary Cover Up, which
yep,
was from Netflix. Which I like that movie, but I it's curious. We'll get into this a little bit in a minute, but you can really tell this year they did not really care for sequels.
no,
2000 Meters and Cover Up were sequels of sorts. Um, so should would that be a good transition then to
yeah.
talk about the underperforming sequels this year?
I think there's one major underperforming sequel that you hinted at, starring a certain pop star.
Yeah, so how let's just break the
Rip the
seal.
Band-Aid.
Wicked for Good got zero nominations. Was there a point when you had kind of realized, oh, this is probably getting blanked?
Original song, I think,
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
probably
makeup. No
yeah.
makeup, no costume design,
Mhm.
no production design. I was like, oh wow. I'm like, I didn't have it getting in the picture. I didn't even have Grande in my predictions.
Right.
But song, I mean, they love musicals in
They
that category. They
they
love
made
musicals and documentaries nobody has seen, including a movie that you texted me What the heck is Vito Verde?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of movies that I'm not sure I'll be able to see. Um, yeah, so they literally made two brand new songs for this movie, and both of them were on the Oscar shortlist, which is one more than K-pop Demon Hunters had on the shortlist.
Yeah.
And neither one of them got a nomination. And yeah, supporting actress was announced first, and Ariana Grande missed. And that wasn't, my hackles weren't up too high because, like we had discussed, that was a very real possibility. But yeah, once like costumes uh and makeup and hairstyling, those were out the window, and then then I was pretty confident that it's most likely wasn't going to be getting a visual effects nomination. So
I, deservingly not. I'm glad it didn't get that.
we'll talk about the surprise nominee in that category in a minute. Um, yeah, it is genuinely strange. It's along with Sinners, it's kind of like the big story from nomination morning, how it went from 10 nominations last year to zero. And I mean, I I've never been one of those people who was flummoxed and confused and angry when they announced that it was going to be split up into two different movies. But I kind of can't help but wonder now, like how it would have performed if it was just one movie, you know?
Yeah. Probably a little better. I don't know. I mean, even for Wicked for Good kind of underperformed at the box office. It started big and then it did not have legs.
Right.
It didn't really carry through the Christmas holiday. And while last year I feel like, well, I guess in when the first Wicked came out, it kind of benefited. They tried to do a Barbenheimer, but it was smaller with Gladiator 2. But what movie also really benefited it was Moana 2. I feel like Zootopia 2, while you would think, oh, that might play kind of similar with how they kind of benefited each other. No, I feel like immediately upon impact, Zootopia 2 just like overtook all the conversation around Wicked for
Right.
Good. And you're even
Right.
like, oh, the following weekend, I was like, for the longest time, I was like, no one's going to see Five Nights at Freddy's 2 around Christmas time. They did, apparently. Then after that was, Avatar. So, like, I just feel like it just got the odds were against it in a way I wasn't really expecting it to. I wasn't ever one of those people being like, oh, it's going to underperform at the box office. No, I expected it to do this a little about the same, maybe a little less than the first. But I think that box office definitely hurt it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the anticipation was certainly palpable before it came out. Um, and then I mean, they did that goofy thing on NBC with Ariana and Cynthia, and then yeah, I forget now which website it was that I read this on, but it was kind of like a breakdown of how and why Wicked ended up missing, and part of it was the like in the first one they had Cynthia and Ariana together, like constantly out there
Mm-hmm.
promoting it together. And this one, they were a little more split up and individualized. And I don't know. I don't know if that was, the nail in the coffin. I think it also doesn't help that the movie just frankly wasn't very good.
No.
But for it to completely blank, especially in the craft categories, was definitely a surprise.
Yeah. Especially after it won so much last year.
Yeah,
And I mean, just a song one, I think is the biggest shock because those songs were written just so it could get extra nominations. That's
exactly. You're not wrong.
that is absolutely what they had in mind. Probably also just to spruce up the runtime to extend a 2.5 hour musical into a 4.5 hour, five
Yeah,
hour
right,
movie experience.
right. Yeah,
But I mean, yeah.
yeah. So I guess that so we're gonna talk about our biggest surprises and just kind of individualized surprises. But you had kind of mentioned one of them, which is Avatar, and I would say easily the one that I'm still unsure of how and why it happened was Avatar Fire and Ash, a nominee in Best Costume Design.
You know what? They were
Do you?
seduced by Varang's costume, minimal costumes, and that's why
Yeah,
they did it.
yeah. Um, what else can you say? I mean,
It's odd.
it's
Um,
especially like the two previous avatars were not nominated in this movie or in
I,
this category.
they don't even wear much clothes in that movie.
Yeah, and
The,
the clothes that they wear are, they're all ones and zeros.
I mean, I can
Like I,
kind of get that like a little bit more because it's like these costume designers still, I think they still like individually like make it in person in order
sure.
to translate it to ones and zeros. So I get that and I respect that, but I think it's just more about like that they don't wear anything.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you look at still photos, like Zoe Saldana's character pretty much wears the most clothing, I think,
Yeah.
besides the human characters.
Oh no,
But
Spider wears the loincloth the whole movie.
you got me there. Yeah. I mean, they hated Wicked for Good that much that that was a category where I would say it was like win competitive. And
I
that the folks at Universal have to be especially angry about that one.
I kind of respect the grind though, just for Avatar. Just the sheer, I'm like, I mean, my love for those movies aside, I, the fact of it being framed as it's like, what if they just did that because they hated Wicked that much? And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I love that level of hate of being a
Yeah.
hater.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta hand it to the Academy this year. Yeah, again, kind of with Wicked, you can see the diminishing returns. The first Avatar had 9 nominations, the second one had 4 and was still a Best Picture nominee. This one has 2, and one of them is a gimme category in visual effects where it's gonna walk away with the
Yeah,
Oscar. Um, so like if they make a fourth one, who knows if it'll get any? I mean,
go get
besides visual
visual,
effects. Yeah.
obviously.
Um, so I mean, I know, um the Dune Part 2 had less nominations than the first one. I'm sure there are more examples of this that I can't think of off the top of my head, but I know that people kind of talk a little bit about how the Academy doesn't care for sequels all that much, but how often do you have sequels that are, in the Oscar conversation to begin with?
Much. Did Doom 2 win visual effects last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sound
Okay, thank God.
and maybe editing as well. I can't remember. That was like a million years ago, so
Yeah.
um yeah, it makes me already kind of nervous about Dune Part 3 and its prospects.
Yeah. I did want to bring up the weird performance of one of the movies nominated for picture, which is Marty Supreme.
Okay.
It still got 9 nominations, as you brought up. It got in picture, got in director, it got in actor for Timmy, who's I think going to win now pretty easily.
Yep.
Um, It got in for screenplay, it got in for editing, production
Casting,
design,
casting,
costings, casting.
cinematography.
Like it, there's two categories. One in particular that I'm kind of peeved it missed in.
Okay,
And I know I read to you about Odessa Zion missing. I'm fine. You know what? I think Elle Fanning was a good. Elle Fanning has been waiting a long time. I'm kind
sure,
of glad
yeah,
she's finally gotten in. Odessa Zion, I think she's the same age as Elle Fanning, but she's just started.
right.
Um, Score. Marty Supreme, which has an incredible score. I
Yep.
never thought it would win. I that is Ludwig's third Oscar in the waiting,
Yeah.
but Daniel LaPatton's score for Marty Supreme is simply like a work of art on its own. It
Hmm.
is so freaking good. And the fact that that didn't get in, as soon as they called it, as much as I loved Begonia and I love Jerks and Frendrix's score on that movie, as soon as they announced that, I was like, fuck. Pardon my French, but I'm like, they're not
I
doing mine.
think for me it was yes, it was Begonia, but it was also Hamnet, which I would feel a little bit more upset uh because that got in because of the whole kind of quote unquote controversy of them using previously
In the nature of
used
daylight.
right. I mean, obviously it's still eligible, so you can't be too mad about it, but I would expect, there's some kind of teeth gnashing about that from the Marty Supreme camp. And yeah, I liked that score as well for Marty Supreme. I have not I think the only one of these that I have listened to like in a vacuum on its own, like on Spotify, is One Battle After Another,
Oh,
which I
really?
wish had a chance at winning, but um no, I don't really remember the Frankenstein score. I know it's a Desplat and he's kind of an Academy favorite, but
He is. I liked his
um
score. It that score worked for me. I
yeah,
mean, the one that for me that I kind of listened to in a vacuum was Sinners.
sure.
Just I've always loved Ludwig's musical stylings, but like just the mix of almost like bluegrass with the supernatural and the guitar strumming. I just think about when Michael B. Jordan seen with my Masaku at that cabin, and as I don't know how to say it without sounding like prude, as they show their love to one another. The music that is playing is like it hits. You feel that, and it's like automatically I feel like it's almost kind of a given, especially with how much music is tied into that film's themes.
Right.
I think Johnny Greenwood score in One Battle is also just superb.
Yep.
Um, Johnny Greenwood just does not seem interested in ever winning an Oscar. I don't think he would
uh
show up at the awards even.
Nor does the Academy seem interested in giving him an Oscar.
No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Thieves Plus or I liked though for Frankenstein. Just
okay. Well,
didn't need
yeah,
to be there.
I share your sentiment on Marty Supreme. I mean, yeah, otherwise it had a pretty good day. I like we talked about Josh Safdie was kind of on the bubble in director, so I'm glad that he was able to get in. Um and casting, love that. That might be maybe my favorite nominee that or nomination that Marty Supreme got because I think the ensemble there is just incredible. Um but yeah, I mean, Marty Supreme is near the top of my nominee rankings, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other I think we've kind of mentioned at least the ones uh that we had written down. We've kind of mentioned all of the surprises that are uh especially notable. I do want to talk for a brief second about visual effects and the other nominees there. Besides
Yeah.
Avatar, not that the other nominees really matter, like we said, but um, Avatar, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. Um, I mean, it's awesome. I think that The Lost Bus got in here. That was my big push in this category in the IFJ awards. I think that movie is criminally underrated for its
It
at least
is.
for its visual effects. The film itself, it's nothing to write home about, but visual effects should be win competitive.
I didn't
Um,
know how much with that movie was done with VFX. You wouldn't think it either because it's like a true to life movie, but like
right.
it pulls it off so well. And it's a Blumhouse movie.
Oh, really? I
So
don't
I
think
don't
I
even
knew
know how
that.
big that budget was, but it looks expensive.
Yeah, I did not get a chance to see that in the theater,
Me
but
neither.
I can only imagine how good it would have looked on the big screen because it looked great on my device. So, um,
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth, a Oscar nominee, which I had only just watched yesterday, and not because I thought that it was going to be nominated. Um,
You hadn't seen it until.
nope, nope, and I did not want to see it. I don't know if you listen to the We Hate Movies podcast, but
Mhm.
they covered it this week. So, um, yeah, a very silly, very stupid movie that has some okay visual effects. And I know that the other Jurassic World movies have not been nominated
No.
here. Have any of the other Jurassic movies been nominated at all?
Yeah. The park.
Okay, so the very first one, I couldn't remember if that was a category at that time. So,
Yeah. I'm almost
okay,
positive it was. And I think The Lost World probably was. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, that was still a Spielberg production. So they probably just did it because it's Spielberg.
right.
And Spielberg always gets in if he's doing something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, even like Ready Player One, which is kind of more so an animated movie, they still gave it that. Um, so
Okay, so I just another take this with a grain of salt because it's the Google AI overview. The original one visual effects Oscar. Um, the franchise later saw another VFX nomination for The Lost World
yeah,
and Jurassic World Rebirth. So
wow.
two Steven Spielberg movies. And is it Garth Davis or Garth
Gareth
Edwards or
Edwards.
Gareth Edwards? So, you know, same conversation.
Yes,
I don't know about you, but I had firmly had Superman as a
me too.
nominee in that category. Kind of a bummer that it missed out. Um, yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to let it go that I know I was surprised by the Jurassic World nomination.
Yeah, it was very much so.
Yeah,
Especially because this was the least successful out of the Jurassic World movies. I feel like it had the lowest impact because even like Dominion, everyone was that whole summer. People were like, that movie was so bad.
right.
It
Yep.
stayed in the conversation that way,
Yeah.
made a
I
billion
mean,
dollars for some reason. I don't know.
this Rebirth, yeah, the Rebirth is a better movie than Dominion, I will say. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's a hot take, but
no,
um
I would hope not.
still, I mean, still not as good as like Superman or I don't know, even Fantastic Four.
Which
Although I
wasn't even
guess
shortlisted
right. Uh
for some reason.
Yeah. Not as good as the actual shortlist nominee, which was Captain America Brave New World. So,
Oh my god.
yeah. Anyway, let's see. Are there any other surprises, good or bad, that you kind of wanted to shout out tonight?
I don't think I ever said no other choice by name. I would just say that. That getting goose egged. Why do they hate Park Chan Wook? Come on, man.
Yeah. I did not have it in my nominees. I will admit that, but yeah, I don't know what he has to do, what South Korea has to do. besides just remake Parasite. Because that,
This
as
is
of now,
kind of
is
similar themes.
yeah, you're not wrong. Um, yeah, I mean, Parasite is literally the only South Korean movie ever nominated at the Oscars for anything. So I don't know. Uh,
Sure.
especially, I mean, I'm especially sad that it missed out on editing. I knew that that
Yes,
was even less likely to happen, but uh, deserved recognition nonetheless.
I would agree.
Um, yeah, I think that's a good way to transition to what we're going to talk about next time. Yeah, I think we're going to do our own kind of moratorium on all the categories. We're going to give our own picks for what missed out in every category, I guess, except for the shorts.
Hmm.
Um, Nate's gonna do a 30-minute rant about Gal Gadot's snub for Snow White.
Yes, and you told me about your rant incoming for Ice Cube in War of the Worlds. So
Yeah, yeah, that's at least gonna be 30 minutes,
yeah,
and we'll do it on our ring cameras maybe. That would
yes,
be fitting.
yes,
But yeah, we'll each come up with our picks in each of the categories and kind of give one last shout out on what could have been. So
yeah.
I'm excited to talk about it. But thank you again, Nate, for this. This was very exciting as I expected it
Yes.
to be. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.